He gave me the pre-call conversation. I go into UCSS fired up. And if you missed it, this is just a little snippet of what we was talking about.
Analytical approach that they were in lockstep. They picked dudes, told us from the analytical approach that they were in lockstep. They picked the players together. They choose the guys.
Well, they all go together.
There it is. It was a group decision. The Easter Bunny did not pick the players. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry did.
Yeah.
Santa Claus didn't pick the players. So if you're sitting here saying, well, they're bad, who picked the bad players?
Yeah.
They did. Who coaches the bad players? Who puts you can't. This is what I told you 2 years ago. It's going to get it to a point where you can't take a guy and Kevin's not going to get separated to the side anymore. He's going to have to own his mess. He's going to, and if he wants to play Dillon, trot him out there. Keep explaining to us why he's playing, and he's going to show us in real time you don't know what you're talking about because you told us in the draft this was your hand-picked quarterback. It is the exact reason Shadur Sanders doesn't get reps because he's going to give every opportunity for Dillon Gabriel to throw his way out of purgatory. It's the reason he dropped back 58 times against the Steelers. The jig is up, Kevin. We understand what it is. We get it. And when you don't have Quinshon Judkins to prop him up, you see what happens. The offense is terrible. Kevin Stefanski has been outcoached by all types of coaches. The offense is JV, high school, Lakewood, St. Ed's dump-offs.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that conversation from 3-4 years ago.
So this is funny because a lot of people that may be new to the channel or new to how we've been talking about this, Darren, for 3 years with Kevin Stefanski. And I think it's just hit its crescendo. What do you make of the fact that Kevin Stefanski has seemed to be willing to die on this hill with Dillon Gabriel?
Let me not try to make it personal because I don't know the man, but he seems like a Nepo baby. And I don't mean that disrespectful. I mean, people forget, his father was a GM in the NBA. So to say he got his head coaching job on merit alone, that's a stretch. And so he's the fact that he's going to down that altar is going to be his downfall. Fortunately, I did hear where Jason admitted that he might not take another coaching job if he were to get fired. And I'm glad you called him to task that, or Adam called him to task about him getting another head coaching job right away. Like, I just don't see it. I mean, and you are what your record says you are. Bill Parcells quoted that, ever so privately, back in the day. And so I know he's got the 2-time Coach of the Year stuff. I don't think that that's indicative. I just think it was a matter of circumstance because the year he won it, shouldn't have won it. Should have been Andy Reid. Andy Reid, I think, was 14-2 that year that they went to the playoffs and Kevin won it. And even though he didn't coach that team because he was home during COVID, Andy Reid should have got that award because they had just won the Super Bowl. They were 14. They were essentially 14-1, and they set the starters out the last game of the year against the Chargers, so they ended up the season 14-2.
Well, let's get to some more receipts. Let's look at this is Dillon Gabriel's final scouting report from Pro Football Focus. Let's take a look at his weaknesses. Gabriel's measurables: height, weight, wingspan, hand, etc. All in the 35th percentile of the lower among quarterbacks. That's quite a barrier developing into a successful NFL signal caller. He'll be a significant disadvantage, and some teams may even be scared off drafting him on their boards. Now, let's see what his other weaknesses are. He turns down open downfield passing options. Gabriel's average downfield pass in 2024 travels 7.0 yards. That's 7th lowest in the FBS. Not Pac-12, Big Ten, Power 5. That is 7th lowest. That's the nature of Oregon's offense, right? But the difference between him and Bo Nix is that Bo Nix took advantage of downfield options. Gabriel's big-time throw rate was 3.2%. Is there a reason you don't see any big-time throws with Dillon Gabriel? He didn't make them in college. Let's keep it real. Bo Nix at least had a 4.0. It's not a large gap, but it's significant when there's plenty of times Gabriel could have taken deep shots. Me and Tyvis have broken it down on here on our members-only film review. And Tyvis eloquently points out times where, hey, that's a big-time throw. You need to throw. It's open. You got to let it go. I've played you. What's the name of set? What Tommy Reese said, he's looking uncomfortable. He just has to let it go. He wasn't skittish like this. We've done these shows before, right? He simply turned down far too many opportunities, either because He has hit his check down too early. Sound familiar this year? Or on passing attempts over 20 or more yards, he earned a PFF grade of 94.7, right? But guess what? He doesn't let it go. Summary. So all of the guy, Sean King puts it eloquently. He said, you took him in the top 100. Gabriel is an intriguing process with extensive college experience dating back to 2019. He demonstrated excellent distribution skills in RPO and quick passing situations, right? Guess what? RPOs is college. The Browns don't run no RPOs. They actually are sitting here trying to tell you Shadur Sanders was actually the RPO guy, the guy that didn't understand offense, right? So we'll just juxtapose the two. The size also led to Gabriel's conservative approach as he frequently missed opportunities for big plays in 2024. For Gabriel to have a successful NFL career, he'll need to be in an offense that highlights his quick decision-making. His draft grade is a 4th or 5th rounder. Now, by the way, Darren, I had to cherry pick this to find a 4th or 5th round grade. Most of them were 6th or 7th or undrafted. Now, I quickly want to go and juxtapose it so we don't miss this with one Shadur Sanders. Can we look at this? Let's look at his strengths. This is all PFF. This is the same publication. Now, when you look at Dillon Gabriel's, if you were to switch this Shadur Sanders for Dillon Gabriel, don't it seem like they just switch their body? Accuracy. His biggest strength is his accuracy. Ball placement, catchability, he's among the best. PFF charts the ball placement on every throw made by college quarterbacks, and Sanders finished 2024 with the 3rd highest accuracy rate and the 5th lowest rate of uncatchable throws in FBS. Let that sink in. 2, avoiding turnovers. For the people that say he plays street ball and he just doesn't know how to get out the huddle on time, avoiding turnovers. Sanders handled the most dropbacks under pressure in FBS, nearly 20 more than the second most. He was under consistent pressure at Colorado, yet still avoided turnovers. Can't say the same about Dillon. His 1.3 turnover-worthy play percentage ranks 3rd best amongst draft-eligible quarterback. That figure rises only to 2.5% with pressure, placing him 8th in the class. Sanders does such a good job of not turning a bad play into a disaster when quarterbacks are constantly under duress. And then let's get to this part, because this debunks exactly what we were talking about with Albert Breer. Maybe because we actually watched the games, maybe because I saw him play. When Sanders plays on time within structure, he flashes high-level processing, not the street ball narrative. It led to the 3rd highest clean pocket PFF passing grade among draft-eligible quarterbacks. Colorado's offense, which was not Oregon's RPO offense, does not rely on a ton of RPOs and screens. Instead, asking Sanders to process a lot of pre-snap and post-snap. Now, Mary Kay, I'm sorry, but when you keep saying he needs to learn the terminology and get in and out of the huddle, who are you hearing that from? Because obviously you didn't watch him in college. You didn't see these scouting reports, did you? Although the Buffalo's offensive line often couldn't hold up enough to allow him to get through his progressions, when he did have time, he was excellent. Even when he didn't have the time, he showed the ability to stand and deliver in crowded pockets. Sanders' 86.9 PFF passing rate when under pressure with time to throw under 2.5 seconds, rate 3rd in college football this past season.
Maybe the most egregious pick in all of the 2025 draft was the Browns taking Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round. There's no way you can evaluate the quarterback position and have him rated as a higher prospect than Shadur Sanders. There's no way that you can be an astute quarterback evaluator and think he was worthy of an asset as valuable as a 3rd round pick. We got to get to the root of the problem here. I mean, that was an egregious draft pick, and the die on the vine is very disappointing. That was a terrible draft pick. Now, don't accelerate the mistake by continuing down the path that you never should have went down in the first place. It's time to go to Shadur Sanders simply because he was a better prospect coming out of college than Dillon Gabriel.
And the thing about that is that, and I know Dustin and them try to respond back, well, he was drafted in the 5th round. And of course he said, well, Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round. You think teams didn't get it wrong then?
Shadur is better than Dillon Gabriel. We'll find out at some
Not
point.
not maybe, Dustin. Little league, high school,
Say whatever you want.
early college, middle college, late college. Right here, October 27th of 2025. Shadur Sanders is better than Dillon Gabriel.
Yeah, that's it.
And I laughed in real time, so you can't get mad at me.
I cried laughing when I saw that.
Listen,
It gets frustrating because, and I think you talked about it either today or yesterday, and it had to been today because Kevin had his press conference yesterday, is the fact. Now, one reason why I will say this, one reason why reporters couldn't push back is because it looks like, well, the presser that he has on Mondays is a Zoom presser, so you're not in the same.
yeah.
So they can mute you after you ask your question, and of course she was able to quickly get a follow-up, but she couldn't go back and forth because it was a Zoom. They could just mute you and go on and not respond back to you. So I'll give them grace on the Monday presser, but the thing is, you got to push back on Kevin and his responses when you get face to face.